Several of the states shown to have some of the highest rates of delinquency were Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Texas, all by poverty levels above the national average. Median household income is also among the lowest nationally in these states. The child poverty rate in the United States improved dramatically because of expansions of the social safety net during the crisis, but experts are warning that allowing relief measures to expire may reverse these historic gains. And while the crisis cut pressure on the well-being of millions of children, new measures greatly improved child welfare. The child poverty rate decreased from 14.2 to 28 in 2018 to less than 5.6% in 2021, and the rate of severe poverty was cut in nearly half. Folks, what do you think about this? Is President Biden doing all that it takes to send out the fourth stimulus check? Tell me what you think in the comments below. Here's an important update. I know many of you guys are wondering when Congress is actually going to do something about the fourth stimulus check. So here it is. Congress will be sending out another batch of fourth stimulus payments to Americans. The Social Security Administration is also looking at a new benefit raise for Social Security beneficiaries. Democrats have proposed a new action plan for the Social Security program, and now if you're retired or just about to retire, then next year's Social Security checks are likely to see one of the biggest bumps on record as a result of surging consumer price indexes. The average beneficiary may be in line to get as much as $180 a month starting next January, and anyone living on a fixed income is being hit hard by inflation. And the higher payments will be welcome news for retirees who have seen their household finances squeezed so far this year. As a result of rocketing inflation and turmoil in the financial markets, the consumer price index is up an annual 8.6% through May. The way ahead of the 5.9% annual inflation adjustment handed out to Social Security beneficiaries in January. Meanwhile, retirees with savings in stocks and bonds have seen their portfolio slump with the financial markets. Anyone living on a fixed income is being hit hard by inflation. Social Security checks have lost 9% of their purchasing power in a year. And the annual COLA, which was instituted during the inflationary period of the 1970s, is calculated by comparing consumer prices each summer with prices from the previous year. The Social Security Administration will look at the average CPI numbers for July, August, and September, and compare them to the average for the same 3 months last year. Experts say that we are already on track for the cost of living adjustment for 2023 of at least 7.9%. That's pretty much a guaranteed minimum. The reason? May CPI's figure is already 7.9% above the averages for last year. So even if there are no further price increases in the economy at all for the rest of the summer and throughout the year, we're looking at this level of increase. For an average Social Security benefit at around $1,700 a month, that increase will work out to an extra $120 each month.
My great-grandfather worked in the mines, was a mining engineer, and everybody there was only one word you heard most often in my family. Not a joke. Most important word. It wasn't unions, it was dignity. Dignity. Everyone's entitled to be treated with dignity. My dad, then we moved to a little town. When Cole died, we moved to a town called Claymont, Delaware, just across the line from Pennsylvania, where the Delaware River bends. And used to have over 6,000 steel workers. We're steel. It's all gone now, all of it gone. Used to be a company town, literally. The hills were all company stores, company buildings, but it's gone. And the union movement began to just crumble in Delaware and in Claymont.
In response to rising mortgage rates, the mix of job gains also reflects shifts in consumer behavior. For much of the past 2 years, Americans spent on homes and furnishings and other goods, boosting employment at warehouses and transportation companies. Many Democrats, are upset at Republicans for not agreeing to plan for President Biden's new spending plan. Now, there's actually still billions of dollars in relief right now. The Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell is facing widespread criticism for his reassertion that the so-called labor shortage in the United States is the result of stimulus checks. During a recent event, McConnell said that direct aid, stimulus money, was sent to American taxpayers over the past 2 years, and that has been holding people back from working. Now, Elizabeth Warren condemned McConnell's statement on Twitter. Mitch McConnell is blaming Americans for not wanting to work, she said. It's absurdly out of touch, and more workers have jobs now than pre-crisis. And investing in affordable childcare will help parents return to work, but Republicans refuse to support actual solutions. That came from Elizabeth Warren. Now, though the stimulus checks and expanded child tax credit did help decrease financial hardship and poverty immediately after they were sent out, the effects of the aid only lasted so long. As of last month, 39% of Americans said that it's difficult to afford regular expenses like bills or rent. And for years now, McConnell and other Republicans have been moaning that the stimulus payments suppress employment. But analysis of the financial program that Congress implemented showed that these claims are not true. In fact, the extra financial aid may have helped people get back into the job market earlier than they would have expected, as the money helped people afford to pay for childcare, expensive measures like that make it easier to get jobs. Now, last year, economists found that employment recovery slowed down in states that ended the crisis era, expanded unemployment insurance checks, in comparison to states that continue giving the checks out. I know many of you are wondering if you're currently owed any stimulus money from the past round of stimulus. Well, Americans might not even be aware that they are still due another stimulus check. Americans who qualify for the stimulus payments get the maximum amount only if their income is $75,000 or below. This only applies for couples who earn $150,000 or below when combined. If you earn more than that, the $1,400 check will begin to decrease, and the income for families is capped out at $80,000 for singles and $160,000 for couples. The IRS issued more checks than $175 million worth of stimulus back in December. A total of 645,000 Americans missed out on these checks since the middle of September. Now, this includes a number of people who missed the notification for the payments in December. If you did not receive all 3 rounds of stimulus but were eligible, you may be able to still claim the check. According to tax experts, anybody that has a baby in 2021 is eligible, so they should definitely claim the recovery rate credit. Similarly to this, if a grandparent can claim, say, a grandchild or another relative as a new dependent, they would also be able to claim the rebate. And starting early this year, the IRS began sending out information via what it dubs the letter 6475. The letter, which the agency did not send out last year, provides details about the total amount you received in third-round payments in 2021, and includes all payments, even if they were issued at separate times. So folks, be sure to check out the information. You definitely don't want to miss out on that. And folks, if you think that President Biden should definitely do something for stimulus payments, then tell me in the comments down below.
The chair recognizes the gentlewoman from California, Ms. Spear, for 5 minutes.
I ask unanimous consent to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection.
Madam Speaker and members, everyone knows what a lemon car is, but we have a fleet of lemon ships. They're called the literal combat ship, except it's a misnomer because it's not survivable in combat. Today we're calling it the leaking, cracked ships. And let me tell you why. If the LCS was a car sold in America today, they'd be deemed lemons and the automakers would be sued into oblivion. But in the federal government, it's big business as usual. $50 billion